This is my 8-step approach to creating partnerships, and we are going to go through this in a second. First section, and it is on knowing your value. We're going to build what I've called your credibility scorecard. Question is, who could you partner with? I need you to create or start creating your 100 list. People who you could potentially partner with. Third step is the, is this even a good idea test? I'm going to determine if they're a good fit. Part 4 is starting the conversation. I feel like so many people get stuck on this. The goal is to do one thing at a time. Don't marry the person, just fucking go on a date. Step 5, meet the potential partner. The goal is to determine if you want to partner with them. Then we get to create the partnership proposal. Depends on the relationship you have with them, as well as potentially like what level or who you're working with. Step 7, map out everything required to execute the partnerships. The last one is a review. I wrote every 1 to 3 months, depending on the partnership. The thing that we need to know is before asking from others, you need to know what you bring to the table. If you are trying to get, but you are not giving, it's not going to be an effective partnership or last very long.
Welcome to Swift Coaches Academy, a podcast dedicated to bringing health and wellness professionals the uncensored truth behind what it really takes to succeed in the health industry with me, your host, Zania Wood. As an accredited exercise physiologist and business owner for almost a decade, I'm on a mission to transform the lives of ambitious health professionals like you who want more and are ready to take action to create incredible impact in your careers and unlock financial freedom in your business. So join me as I speak candidly with industry leaders about the struggles and successes from within the trenches through thought-provoking conversations.
Today's Practical Masterclass, we are focusing on creating and leveraging strategic partnerships, which arguably is the single most effective strategy to scale. If you don't know this story, this is me living in an 8-person share house. These are all those 8 people for proof that you don't have to have money or connections or anything like that to get started, especially with something like partnerships where obviously they can be advantages, but we all have to, start from somewhere. And I started from literally, what I feel like is the bottom in, like housing commission, and then lived in an 8-person share house, and summer, like Brisbane, it was fucking sweating and my curtains falling down and there's no aircon. And I sort of felt like I was going to have to pack it all in because I didn't know how to run this thing called business. I knew that I was good at exercise and coaching people, but I was struggling to make it work. To now, where I'm actually in the process of purchasing property number 3, which is very exciting, and soon to be potentially number 4 off the back of that pretty soon too. So just watch this space. But I've purchased 2 properties under the age of 30, all by myself, no government assistance, no partner, and created 2 companies. And because I'm crazy, I created like 4 different streams to those companies. And now I'm realizing that simplifying is far easier and will help you go further than trying to create 17 different things. So that's what I want to teach you from my mistakes. Just a reminder, my big vision is to live in a world where health business owners turn their passion into profit and get to create financial freedom guilt-free. I think it's such a misnomer that we either help people or we make money, and it does not have to be one or the other. It can get to be both. And I also want to see health professionals step up into their true power and live their life filled with purpose and passion, doing what they love and combining that into something that helps them create wealth and health of others. So, you're in the right room today if you feel like you're playing business on hard mode, if you see other businesses collaborating and getting ahead and you want to know how, if you want to create win-win opportunities with other epic people, and you have a ton of value to give, but you don't know how to create effective partnerships that make cash. And obviously, as always, you need to be ready to make the changes necessary today. So today what you're going to walk away with is my full partner playlist. So this is a playbook I'm going to give to you at the start, and we're going to work through it together. You're going to have some shit ready to go and attack some partners that you can collaborate with and create strategic partnerships with ASAP. I'm also going to help you make sure every partnership is a win-win-win. Yes, that is meant to be 3 wins because there are 3 parties to each partnership. I'm going to talk about what that is, and then how to generate profitable partnerships as well, because at the end of the day, the whole reason that we're in business is not just to help people, but also to make money. And if we're rejecting that fact, then we should have got an NGO and not had a non-for-profit, because we are also here to help ourselves in the process, and you probably wanted some time and money freedom and perhaps feel a little stuck because you've bought yourself a job. So we're here to help change that. I'm going to give you your very own list today of you're going to create your own list of your ideal partners and exactly how to approach them with these strategies. I do not know why all the beautiful pictures aren't working, but these are all photos of me with really successful people. So just imagine there's photos there of people like Alicia Gowans, who is a 3-time world champion bodybuilder. There is one with Jordan Shallow, who's the muscle doc, and Ben Pekulski, who is like bodybuilding yogi. He was, I think, runner-up 2011 in one of the bodybuilding scenes. Photo with Brett Contreras, who's the glute guy. I have these actual photos, but that's just the rundown of who's in those photos. And this is sort of what partnerships has done for me, right? I had no brand credibility or reputation. I was doing everything on my own. I had no idea how to reach out and collab with businesses, let alone people who were like top dogs in industries. And I was just so focused on improving my technical skills only. Now, of course, you need to be good at what you do, but that's not the only thing. Okay, so now I've collaborated with some of Australia's biggest brands in allied health, such as Physio Network, F45, Athletes Authority, FitStop, and the likes. I've increased my exposure and credibility off the back of that and had some pretty fucking high profile clients that have then landed me more paying clients off the back of the fact that I'm working with these high profile people. And then also added passive revenue streams. Now, I fucking hate when people are like, oh, I get passive income. But like truly, when you create partnerships like this, there are ways that you can refer to people and then you get residual income off the back of that one thing you did months ago. Okay, that's what I want to talk about. What I want to start with is, what is the purpose of a partnership? This is my definition, which is to share, exchange, or create value that is greater than the sum of its parts. Okay, so I have value, Jason has value, we come together, we are going to either exchange or share or create value that is greater than what we could do individually, right? The thing that we need to know is, before asking from others, you need to know what you bring to the table. And effective partnerships are always a win-win. If you are trying to get, but you are not giving, it's not going to be an effective partnership or last very long. So, for partnerships to work, they need to be a win-win-win. They need to benefit you, they need to benefit the other business, and they need to benefit your clients or their clients, right? It's not just about you and the other business. Of course, the whole point of that is to create something to benefit the clientele or the people who are going to purchase the service, okay? So that is how it's a win-win-win. Now, so many different types of partnerships that you can do. It's just an exchange of value. Right? I don't want you to get too caught up in like, oh my God, partnership is this big thing and la la, and I have to get like this document signed. And these are all shit that's you're telling yourself that's holding you back from this. Okay? A partnership could be a collab post on Instagram, right? A partnership could be referring someone a client. It can be as simple as that or as complex as a revenue share in a new model that you create together. I'm going to talk about all the different types today. So, other types of value that each party could bring is assets. So IP, like your knowledge in your head or the system or the way that you do something. For example, Anthony and I were talking about the fact that we have a system in terms of how we onboard clients, in terms of our deep dive process, in terms of the 3-step method that we walk people through. That's our IP, or my IP really, of the business. Assets could be physical goods or physical space. So you might want to go and host a workshop, and you could collaborate with the person who owns the workshop space. And instead of just, I think so many people think it like the beginner version of the game is I have to have money to play. And then you get above that, and the people who have money are not fucking using their money. They're using their head. And they're going, how can I give you value? And you give, and I don't fucking pay for it. So maybe you go into the space and you say, hey, let's do a split 50-50 of the revenue that we bring in. So yeah, there's a little bit of risk on them, but you're running the workshop, risk on you for your time as well, and you get to bring shit together, okay? Or physical goods. Like we have some pretty high-tech equipment we use for our rehab stuff. Could we exchange value or partner with other local health businesses in the area and have them use our equipment for certain periods, activities, whatever. And is that a partnership we could create? Probably. Other things are database. So your email list, your follower count, the client phone numbers, or just actually your phone numbers in your phone. That is database of people who could get support or get help from you or other businesses, and people find that valuable. Okay. Brand credibility, so reputation, social proof, past proven results you can bring to the table as well. So if I go on Andrew Huberman's podcast, I get a fuck ton of brand credibility off of that because he has built an incredible brand, right? There's no exchange of dollars, but that adds value, okay? And if I'm an expert in my area and I have something to say that is of value to his audience, also an exchange for him, right? Other thing is clients. This could be foot traffic or through marketing or through workshops, okay? Whether you have this or you're going to another business that has this, maybe you have no foot traffic or you're an online business and you go to somewhere that does have foot traffic and you have a stall there for a night, something like that, okay? And then actual clients or referrals. And I'm sure this is not an exhaustive list. This is just to get you thinking. This is my 8-step approach to creating partnerships, and we are going to go through this in a second. First section, and it is on knowing your value. We're going to build what I've called your credibility scorecard. I want you for the next 5 to 7 minutes to write down as much as you can to answer these questions, okay? So I'm going to keep talking, and I just want you to start writing as we go, okay? So you're going to build out, and this is not just like of the specific niche that you work in now. This is like ever. Like number of clients you've total worked with. You did a group class with 30 people, that's 30 people. That's not one, okay? So I've worked with probably, let's estimate if I saw 80 clients a year for the last 10 years, it's 800 clients. But then I've also got Anthony who works for me and he's probably done the same thing. So now we double that. Right? And then actually we've already had like 4 other people in our business who've probably done like a third of that each. So we do the math on that and figure out that we've probably worked with over 5,000 people or something like that, right? The bigger the number, the better in these scenarios, okay? It's not inflating. You're giving a rough estimate of the numbers, but to be able to add years of experience, it's not just my decade of experience, but it's Anthony's decade of experience. So to get combined, the business has 20 years experience. Right? That sounds so much more impressive than, and these are we statements, not I statements, even if you're a sole person, sole trader at the moment. Okay. So client numbers ever, right? Years of industry experience. What if you including, if you could include your studies as well, if you wanted to, really, like if you were working in the industry as well. Number of testimonials or 5-star reviews. And these are just examples. You don't have to fill out all of these, but as many as you have, it's really good too. Social media following. So that's total. That's like YouTube, Instagram, Threads, X, all of them, right? You don't have to necessarily be like super, super precise with all of these. You're giving estimates, okay? Have you done speeches or presentations for specific industry experts or bodies or collaborated with anyone who's well-known, right? Awards or personal results. So this could be personally, I got myself out of back pain and I'm a back pain rehab specialist, right? Or it could be personal results as to, we've transformed X number of clients' lives or, awards for what recognition of what we've done in business. This is where you get to name drop and you get to do all the branding shit that I just did before for you guys, where you get to pull out the big dogs and you have the photos and you talk about the things that you've done or who you've worked for. Like I didn't even mention things like I've done some work with like Brisbane Raw, right? But or like different, like I've my personal accolades would be like Australian volleyball squad, like things that are relevant to your profession. Okay. Other businesses or brands that you've worked with. You can also put in here your point of difference, which is your methodology, your approach, your system, your roadmap, which if you've done the offers section of the course will help you articulate that. Your knowledge, qualifications, and additional skills. So I think it's still on our website. I have like a list of, I've done like a rock tape course and a Pilates mat work and like all the things that I have. The whole point of this activity as we're going through is to understand that you may not write and use every single thing for every single person, but you want to have that list written there so that you can go, I'm working with a Pilates instructor. I should put in that I have a mat work course qualification. That's the one that's relevant to them. Or they're going to know the high profile Pilates certification that I did it with. Okay. Personal experience as well. Either of you going through the challenge and working through it or helping other people work through it. And then some broader questions on what are you good at? What experience do you have? What knowledge do you have? What qualifications, what skills, and what results have you achieved? So you could be like, there's, like 1 to 3 client stories of like people whose lives I really fucking changed. And those stories are heartfelt stories that other people get drawn in by. Right? So if you want to create instant credibility, like I have a story that I tell about a client called Jordan, and I fucking tear up most of the time when I say it. And that's part of the reason I tell the story as well, because I'm trying to connect. I'm not faking crying. I just get emotional about this story. But it's a fucking impactful story because he literally came to me and was like, I do not know if I would fucking be here on this earth if it wasn't for you, because of the work that you did, because you were the 1 hour of my week that I actually had to be somewhere and to show up for someone else. And like, I fucking have goosebumps right now. Like it's just emotive for me. And if you have those stories, that's the things that we want to tell. And that adds to not just the numbers or the dollars in your business, but the credibility through, wow, you impacted that person's life. And I think specifically like T, your personal story about the twins who passed, that should be, and I'm not saying exploit it, and please don't take it as that, but I think that in your own way, you can use that and people fucking like relate and they say, oh my God, and how can I help? Like, I would be making sure everyone knows that's your like hero story, basically. And, like that didn't let you down. And that's why you want to help mums so much. It's not just, oh, I like helping mums. It's like, I fucking went through the darkest period of my life and I know how fucking, like, it just, the passion comes out. And I think we all have those types of stories that we can pull from as well. These could just be great results with clients too. Like I've gotten 50 clients to lose a combined total of 500 kilos of weight. Like that's a pretty fucking cool statement. Next question is, who could you partner with? So we're not going to get to 100 today because I'm not going to sit here for the 10 plus minutes it's going to take you all, but I need you to create or start creating your 100 list. So this is people who you could potentially partner with. And I'm talking like the little guy and fucking Walmart. Like we're going all of the things. This is a word vomit exercise and a brain dump. This is not but how could I do it? It wouldn't work. Would they say yes? Fuck all of those things off for right now out of your brain. Just write down shit that comes to you. These could be industries, i.e. gyms, i.e. supplement stores, or it could be like the exact gym name and location, or it could be an exact person, okay, that you've seen on Instagram that you would love to partner with, that is your friend who works in fucking candle making, but you both serve women in their 30s, right? This does not have to be who is in my health niche. I have partnerships with a web designer and an accountant. Makes no real sense as to why that is, but I will show you how it works and it benefits both of us later. So this is just people that you work with, the same demographic, the same types of people. You could refer to each other. You could collaborate and partner. Don't worry about the logistics right now. I just want you to put down as many names of businesses, business owners, friends who are in business, people who are influencers, big hotshot Nike. I would love to do a collab with Nike and have, my logo there or whatever. Like, let's just put down as much as you can. Okay. I'm going to give you 5 minutes now. I want everyone to have at least 30. So you should be writing feverishly. And if you think 30 is a lot, then you need to think harder, because I could give you 30 for each of your businesses in the next 3 minutes. Start big and go small if that's helpful, i.e. physios, chiros, osteos, massage therapists. I share the same clients with the grocer down the road and the hairdresser, and then go, who do I know who's a hairdresser? So that's 2 points, not just the hairdresser as an industry, but the specific hairdresser that you know. I've also written on here, who do you know in complementary businesses, but it could be competitors, right? Like Ben and I could collab on something. We're both EPs. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad idea for us to collaborate, because obviously they'd all want to work with me and jump ship anyway. So it might be bad for Ben, but no. But we could each provide value, and we each have niche areas that could be of benefit. Remember, you don't have to know how right now. You just have to list businesses, people's names, people who share your clients. Where else do they go? Do they need to eat food? Where would they do that? Do they like coffee? Where would they do that? Do they also buy health insurance? Where would they do that? Do they also own a car? Where would they buy that from? Like, your clients will be spending money in a fuckload of different locations that have nothing to do with you. And you can collaborate with those people. The bigger, the more extensive your list, the better. In this example, you can narrow it down later. Go wild with this. Alrighty. Time is up. I want you to count how many you got and write your number in the chat for me. 21, 35. Nice work. Pretty sure the first time I did this, I got like 60 or 70. Like, go crazy with this stuff. 33, 32. Love it. Awesome. Beautiful. So out of this list, you are going to pick one who we are going to use for the rest of today's activity. And this is going to be the one you are actually going to reach out to. So don't pick Nike if you're not buddies with the owner, right? Pick someone who's actually realistic for you right now at your stage of business. Okay? We're going to go from there. Third step is this even a good idea test? Okay, we're going to determine if they're a good fit and make sure you know what you bring to the table and you know what they bring to the table, and also where their weaknesses are, so that you can figure out what the added value could be. These are just coulds. These are not like, oh, this is what has to happen. This is just your idea. This should take you 10 minutes, maybe 15, to figure this out about someone else's business. You're not going and spending fucking an hour of research for a partnership that may never happen. That's really important. This is just real quick and dirty. Let's get down the basics and figure out, does this make sense? Should I move forward with trying to engage them in conversation? Okay. So first thing is determine if they're a good fit. So the first question you need to answer is, do they share the same ideal clients? Do they have clients that you also want to work with? Yes or no? Okay. If that's a no, pick someone else. We'll come back to it. And do they provide a complementary, not a competitive service or product? i.e. you do exercise, they do nutrition, tick. i.e. they do mortgage broking, you do gym training. That's complementary, not competitive. May not be super complementary, but it's not competitive. So we're good. Then we're going to create a SWOT analysis of the business you're looking to partner with, their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, their business. This says nothing about you right now. So I'm going to pick an example. We're going to go through it live, and I'm going to get you to do yours at the same time. Who has one that they think is a pretty good partner that they actually going to go and approach? Not Tay, Talisa, give us yours.
Mine is a mums and bubs and pregnancy photographer.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go from what we know right now: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So strengths, for this business, what do you know so far? What are they good at? Obviously photography, but like what is their strength? Like, are they well known in the area? Do they have lots of followers? Like, what do you know? What's their credibility piece if they wrote it?
Oh, I don't know that off the top of my head.
No, that's okay, but you do know some things about them. So like, do they have a good Instagram presence? Is it like, what's good about them?
Yeah, they've got just great images. They're really booked out with their photos, like their photo shoot sessions whenever they release them. She's a mum of two. So yeah, she's not in that industry full time, but the openings she gets, she sells out every time.
Perfect.
And she has lots of repeat customers from pregnancy to postpartum.
Perfect. So now you've got a lot of credibility and there's a lot of loyalty for this brand and this person. That's a strength of hers. The fact that she's booked out all the time is a strength. The fact that she's well known or like known to that niche in that area is a great strength. If we move into weaknesses, what do you think would be a weakness of her or her business?
Potentially her availability to partner.
But not just a partner, but just in general. Maybe she has low availability. Yeah. Maybe like it is a one man or one woman show. And you know, maybe there could be things that you could provide in terms of systems, or maybe, you know, having someone else or residual revenue. It kind of sounds like maybe she's just got one sort of income stream. So that could be a weakness for her. It's a physical located business, so there's not an online component. So, I mean, we're just brainstorming. We're not trying to fix anything, just trying to get ideas. Okay?
Yeah.
What are the opportunities that you see for her business?
As far as like what I could give, or just opportunities of what she could grow and
just her.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, there could be opportunities for increased availability. She could hire someone else. She could do interstate bookings if she, you know, booked it out. She could book out, like she could do like a workshop or something where she brings, you know, 10 mums together and they all pay for something, as opposed to like doing it separately. Those are opportunities. Threats would be things like other photographers. If she only does mums and bubs, and so it could be competitors coming into the space. It could be they're not niche enough and so they don't get clients. It could be their branding sucks. They have no threats. Could be someone else taking market share. Maybe they're not advertising and so someone else could take their clientele. We're going to move on to the wants and the benefits. So the third point to the partnership analysis is, what do you think they would want out of a partnership with you? So typically it's exposure, it's some sort of like shared value or creation, or it's dollars. Okay? Pretty simple. What do you think they want from you? Could be your expertise, right? You might not have 7,000 members in the gym. That might be them. Might be a gym that you've decided to partner with. You don't have all the members, but you have a lot of knowledge and you can give your time and you can give resources. Whereas they can give members, they can give clients. Okay, so you give value and they might give exposure, and that could equal dollars both ways. And then what do you want? Why would you choose these people to partner with? What is it in it for you? You need to get clear on both of these things. Following up from that is explaining the benefits. So how do they, it's similar to the wants, but how would they benefit from the partnership? How would you benefit from the partnership? And how do the clients of your and their business benefit from the partnership? So for example, well, I'm going to run through some examples in a minute, but basically, let's say that you ran a workshop in a gym facility. They benefit because they get an expert talking about a topic. Perhaps you do it for free, so at no cost to them or their members, right? How you benefit is that you get to get in front of 20 to 30 of their members for an hour, captivated attention, and you are on a pedestal as the expert because you are the one positioned as the expert in their facility. And the clients benefit because they get the value of the presentation or potential to see and learn more about you to potentially work with you. Okay, that would be an example of the benefits. So this is where you're starting to think, what would you do together as a potential partnership opportunity? Would you swap knowledge? Would you swap clients? Would you provide and how would that benefit? Part 5 and 6 is the logistics. So determine the how, like what does it actually look like if you want to set up what you're proposing. So this is where you should have an idea of what you think an ideal partnership option would be, i.e. the workshop that I mentioned before, and then the finances behind it. So is anyone paying anyone money? Who is paying who? i.e. is their business paying you? Are you paying them? Are the clients paying them? And then they also give you a percentage of that. Like what would that look like? Okay. And then the most important part that a lot of people miss out on is measuring it. How are you measuring success? And how will you know when to dissolve the partnership? And that doesn't mean, oh, it didn't work one time, so fuck it off, right? But what is your metric as to whether this is or isn't viable any longer? Or maybe it's just, I'm going to start with one workshop. We're going to see how it goes. Jason, jump off mute for me. Give me your idea of the how for your partnership, and briefly, who is it?
I struggled a little bit with the how. I want to work with my chiropractor. He's very location based, works in this pokey little office, probably a bit smaller than the room I'm in now. Doesn't really have much in the way of social media or anything like that. Just the guy knows his shit, talks to everyone with dad jokes and like very chill, down to earth sort of guy. And I really want to work with him. So the how for me, my first idea is potentially like a crossover social media email blast, just to give tips to our current clientele, and obviously marketing towards both mine and his email social databases. That's really about all I've got at the moment. Yeah.
Cool. Obviously, another easy how could be like just referring clients back and forth.
Correct. Yeah.
And perhaps there is something that you put in place where there's a discount or a reduction, or anyone who signs up with you for more than 6 months, you pay for their first appointment with him. And I would go pay, quote unquote, and then you say, oi, I give you a client for free. You just got to do first session pro bono. Then if they sign up with you, that's all yours or whatever, right? Like, but on the front end, it looks like you're paying for a session. So therefore they see it as the value of the session. It's not free.
Gotcha.
That could be an option. I often would do when I was at a gym, and I would say any member who is trying to cancel because they are injured goes through me first. And they get like a 20-minute consult with me, and I can assess like, what are they doing? Are they doing it well? Can we keep them in the gym and keep them exercising? Because we had a common goal. And so perhaps any clients of yours who are struggling with pain, injuries, whatever, before they cancel working with you, they get a session or just a phone consult or a 15-minute little walk-in, whatever you guys decide, so that he can assess first, and he can obviously help promote continued movement and potentially get them some relief.
Yeah, right.
Alternatively, you could give all of his new clients a meal plan or a free consult or whatever you want to do on that regard. But there's a lot of cross-pollination that can happen.
Okay.
Does that help to give some ideas?
Heaps. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. My pleasure. And then the finances, you get to decide whether you want this to be a paid swap in terms of referrals or not. And I'll give you options as to what those look like as well. I do find that if it's all groovy and it's above board, and, you know, like there's some industries where you can't slide someone a 50 under the table. And that's, you know, like with lawyers, or, you know, sometimes it's seen as like, that's not okay. But other times you can provide gifts or monetary referral exchange. And I think that doing that both ways can be quite effective, because sometimes you'll refer a fuck ton of people and they'll refer no one. It doesn't feel like a fair exchange. But if you're both referring and you're both getting money for the referral, then they know if they want to get money, they can refer you people. But they might be happy just receiving, and you might be happy receiving the dollars or whatever. Measure it. Sam, how have you decided you are going to measure the success of your partnership?
So my one was to like a shoe shop. It's called The Running Company, where they analyze like gait pattern and then they fit them out with shoes. They're getting a lot of information about their gait pattern, so they can also highlight like hip or knee injuries or their likelihood of getting injured. So it's good referral to then refer to me and so forth. And I can refer my clients to see them to get their shoes fitted, so then they make sure they're preventing injuries from the feet. So I guess in terms of the measuring side of things, I was just thinking more like the amount of people that can be referred, vice versa.
Yeah, perfect. And I think that the success of this specific strategy for you is going to be dictated by how good your offer is and how well that team believes in your ability to get results. So what I would do is get every single member of the team who does the sales front of, like, on the floor and does the gait analysis or whatever, get them to do a session with you. Either you could do group or you could do them individually and you provide them value in like a one-off complimentary physio session. Maybe it's 30 minutes, something like that. And then they see the value in you and they feel confident enough to refer, because I think that's a really key piece. Same, Jace, if you haven't done this yet and your chiro doesn't have that confidence instilled in you, get him into the gym and make him sweat, or, you know, make him feel like he's the king of the world after a session with you. Okay? Because even if we know people, it's a lot of trust for me to give my personal connection to someone who I don't know or haven't seen or felt or experienced their service. I could think you're a great person, but I have no fucking clue if you can get results with people. And therefore I'm going to be nervous to want to send my friend or family member or client to you. So sometimes this stuff takes a little while, but you don't need 7,000 partnerships. You need like 4 fucking good ones. Right? It'll take a while to work through and figure out who they are, and they'll change, and that's okay. Yeah, perfect. So Sam, with you, just in terms of the offer, once you've done that first piece, what I would also do is probably like a 50% off initial session, because if you give it to them for free, I don't think they will value it, and you want the people who are committed. Perhaps there can be a free download, or like a, you know, there can be an offer to join the Good Moves Run Club, but then also 50% off physio or something like that.
Yeah, or it could also be in the sense of like doing at their shop, they do a lot of like wear testing of shoes. They also run, like I've seen in the past, like a few workshops. If I was to do a workshop where it's like I provide my expertise for free, they could see the value that I provide, and then that might then lead into a partnership potentially.
Yeah.
And
or get one of them to come down to the run club and assess everyone's shoes at the end of running, and like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sit on the lawn after you've run. Everyone takes their shoes off, bit of a workshop. They have like a captive audience of 50 new potential clients. Part 4 is starting the conversation. I feel like so many people get stuck on this because they don't know what to say, they don't know how to say it, or they don't back themselves and believe that they're worthy of going and approaching this business. So that's like with dating. Don't try and sleep with them on the first night. Just try and get their phone number, or get them to fucking reply to the text message that you sent. Okay? The goal is to do one thing at a time. Don't marry the person, just fucking go on a date. Okay? So that is getting a meeting booked in this instance. Do sell the vision. Remember that the goal is to book a meeting, and speak about this being a win-win. Focus on the opportunity. Do not get caught up in the details. Do not word vomit all your 17 ideas we've workshopped today, and do not pitch a clear idea before you've had the chance to chat to them and determine if this is actually going to be something that's going to be worthwhile for them. Because we've spoken now, and Jace, maybe you're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'd love to do a workshop. That sounds great, la la la. And like you go down this whole fucking rabbit hole, and then you send them an email, and I've fucking done this where I was like, oh, we could do this or this or this. And people fucking thought it was spam. Because it was just too much. It's like you get one of those messages, a DM on Instagram from some fucking company that wants to partner with you, and you're like, next. Like it doesn't feel like a relationship. It feels like someone who wants something from me. So please be really brief. And there are examples in this document as to what you can say. It's like 2 or 3 sentences. That's it. You just want them to say, yes, I'll book a meeting. I'm interested to learn more. Because the idea that you have that you think is fucking exceptional, they might not love. And then they will turn around and say no, but then you are blocked from further opportunities or other ideas that you might have had. Okay? I promise you, quick, simple, and clear really helps. Hey, what's your chiro's name?
Alex.
Cool. Hey, Alex, been thinking about your business and how we could partner to create a win-win opportunity. I've done workshops with a couple other businesses that have been really successful. Would love to know if that is something you're interested in, or if you have another idea of how we could share clients. That's the whole fucking message. That's it. Okay? You just want someone to respond with a yes. Step 5, meet the potential partner. The goal is to determine if you want to partner with them. If you don't really know them and you're meeting them for the first time, this is the good bloke or the good gal test. I don't mean like a good girl. I mean like, do you want to have a beer with them? Are they a good human being? Okay? So the questions that you ask yourself are they good people? Would you enjoy working with them? That's the first question. If you're like, this guy's a fuckwit, then it doesn't matter really what he's selling because your clients aren't going to like him either. And you go next. That's why you can potentially book like a 10, 15-minute meeting just to like vibe check with the person. If it doesn't vibe, next, right? That's like you ask someone for coffee. You don't ask someone for a fucking like 10-course meal because you're like, what if he's a dickhead? I don't want to have to sit here through that. You know? Same. And then you bring your ideas to the table and let them bring theirs. I like to suggest max maybe 3 ideas, but focus on 1 or 2. Okay, so you might go, okay, workshop and cross referral. Those are my 2 things that I'm leading with. Okay, and then you could ask them, you know, like this is where you get to ask questions about their business. You know, what are you working on right now? What's working for you? What's not working? How could I help you? How could I benefit you? If you know, what is it in your business? And they might be like, I have so many fucking clients. I don't need any more clients, but I'd love some more value to be added to my members. They might be like, I'm actually really looking to specialize in shoulders and shoulder rehab. I'd love some shoulder clients. And maybe you don't have those clients, but you know someone, right? Again, it's not the I'm paying to play, it's the partnering and how can I leverage the opportunities or the skills or the people that I know. Okay? So this is where you can write down some of those ideas that we've spoken about now, and you could use, you don't have to use all of them, but I would probably just have like a bit of a list or a bit of a goodie bag that you can drag from when you're looking to partner with people. Okay, so you're like, cool, I'm not going to do a workshop with the fucking GP clinic because that's just a bit weird. It's probably not going to work. But what I could do is like referral pamphlets or, I don't know, like some sort of interactive video that their clients could watch or whatever. Then we want to ask them what they want from the partnership. So you need to see if it aligns. Okay, if they're like, I want more clients, and you're like, me too. You're like, fuck. Okay, well, we can create more clients together through marketing or through other strategies, but we may not be able, if we're both baby businesses and we've only got a handful of clients each, it's not necessarily the exchange that we wanted. So we either workshop it or we realize this isn't the partner for us right now. Then we want to confirm what you want out of the partnership and what your ideal scenario is, and then confirm which idea you may like to move forward with. So you've got all your ideas of the referral and the workshop and the blah, blah, blah. You pick one and you go, cool. Let's do a workshop and map out maybe like 4 weeks from now. So we've got some time to advertise it and we're going to do and these are the steps. And then it's your responsibility, don't leave it up to anyone else, to send a follow-up email or message confirming the idea and when they'll get the either partnership proposal or the just itinerary or the next steps. It doesn't have to be formal, but just when you're going to send them that stuff. Then we get to create the partnership proposal. Now, this is going to depend as to how deep you go into this. I have done this with bigger businesses or people who need, who I want to take me more seriously. So you kind of play the game of like, where do you sit? Like if I sit below them, quote unquote, on the scale, I want to probably do this and be like, I'm here and I'm fucking serious about this. Versus I could probably turn around to any one of you right now and be like, oi, love to do a partnership. I think we should do these 3 things. Send you a fucking 3 dot point email and you'd be like, yeah, right? Doesn't have to be as formal. Depends on the relationship you have with them as well as potentially like what level or who you're working with. Okay? You don't need a full fucking proposal if you're working with a personal trainer because they're probably like, I don't know what a proposal is. Okay? So just read your market. So the idea here, and this is the template that you have, is why should we do this? What's the problem? So the problem is perhaps if I'm working with a gym, members are leaving and they're not getting the rehab support that they need to continue and sustain exercise for longevity. That's the problem. Okay? Because I realized and identified that in my meeting with them. The solution is I come in once a month and do a workshop, or I have a little stall, or we do referrals, or a combination of all those. And then you can talk about the market in terms of like what is happening in the industry. Like a lot of places are transitioning into more allied health hubs, and you being a standalone gym is a threat to your business. So by having me in there, we're both benefiting from that. Okay. Then you talk about the idea, which is what you're actually going to do, how it works, the logistics. And then you would map out everything required. This is a you step for you personally. Step 7, map out everything required to execute the partnership. So workshop. So we need to book the date, book the venue, or print the flyers, figure out the collab posts, all the T's and C's. Create self deadlines and put them in your diary. Make sure all parties are on the same page as to like, I'm going to do the Instagram, you're going to do the email database. This needs to be done by this date. Get an agreement. Okay? Because so many times this shit just doesn't fucking happen. They say they'll do it, they don't. No one follows up. It's not in writing, and perhaps the workshop tags. Okay, so you need to figure out who's doing what, and ideally, if you want like playing to each other's strengths, but if you want it to go well and you have templates and things and you've done this time and time again, you can be like, I've got some Instagram templates, happy to just I just need your logo. Or go and fucking find their logo on Google. Like, don't even bother them, right? Do as much of this as you can. If you want to be seen as like, I've got this, I can do this for you, depending on like if someone's coming to you and they want a partner, they're probably going to need to put in the work. Okay. And then you determine how regularly you'll touch base to provide updates. I think this is really important because you're like, oh, I don't want to bug them, blah, blah. But if you have this just set up and you're like, fortnightly on a Monday, we'll just touch base, flick you a text. That could be it. Doesn't have to be this whole big thing. And then obviously follow through. The last one is a review. I wrote every 1 to 3 months, depending on the partnership. And these are just some reflective questions for you. So this is what is working and why, and then how can you enhance that to be even more effective? Then what is not working and why? How could that be turned around? What has the outcome been of the partnership for them so far? Like, have they got clients, leads, dollars, value, feedback, whatever? What has the outcome of the partnership been for you so far? And then you get to determine, is this something you want to continue pursuing? If yes, do you need to change anything? If no, how do I dissolve it? Okay. Those should be all the questions that you need to figure out if it's working, and really asking better questions will give you better answers. And I think these are going to be pretty effective questions because you're understanding their perspective and your perspective and what would need to happen to make it better or worse, and if that's worth it for you. I'm going to give you some examples now. You might be like, I don't really know. She said workshop, that's the only really thing. I'm going to give you some actual examples of things that I have personally done. Okay? Would that be helpful for you? Awesome. So Swift Movement Academy, and I'm just not going to name business names and things like that. Just leave it. Times group fitness facilities. Done this with multiple big brands that you would know. Basically, we host workshops inside their facilities. And the benefit for me is brand exposure and database sharing. So I get their email list, or I get to sit in front of their clientele. They're bringing the clients, right? And they have a brand. The benefit for them is credibility boost because they've got some rehab expert coming in and that looks pretty good for them. And they also get to have more awareness through a new marketing campaign because they'll promote and talk about me coming in. Okay, that's obviously can be a benefit for me as well, but I put it in that column. The outcome of this is that I got new members added to my database. So everyone who came, I got all phone numbers, emails, all of that sort of jazz, so I could reach out to them later. And I gained new clients off the back of this. Okay, so I actually got dollars off the back of this. And what I specifically have done in the past is 50% off initial consult for the first 3 people. So there'd be like 20 people at this workshop who would attend. And I would say we only have 3 spots for 50% off. So it helps with scarcity and urgency for people to take action, to join and work with us. I think once someone actually didn't sign up off the back of that, ever. It's pretty effective because they've just worked with me. And I've done between 1 and 3 workshops before. So we did, our signature ones were lower back, shoulder and neck, and then knee. And we would do specific workshops. So some people come to all 3, some people would only come to the one that's relevant to their condition or injury. And then the benefit to the fitness facility was value adding to the members at no cost to them or the members. And I've also done this before where it is at cost to the members or it is at cost to the facility. So I've done like 3-4 different strategies of this created value partnership example. Okay, who thinks that they could execute something like that? It's not that hard. Cool. This one is a created revenue partnership. So this example, and I have done this as well, Swift Coaches Academy times a complementary business. I mentioned before other businesses in random industries that I've worked with. That's these businesses. So this is referral of clients for a percentage of the sales or a flat dollar fee. So I'm actually getting money for referring ongoing. So this is how that passive revenue has been created. So for me, what is it? Enhanced brand credibility from trusted connections. If I say, hey, Jason, you need to go and see my lawyer for whatever's going on with you because they're fucking exceptional and you're obviously struggling with this dickhead client, you're probably going to go to them. And then I may get a kickback from that. Just so you know, I would never fucking do this to anyone ever unless I don't trust and back them myself and wouldn't send you even if I didn't get money. This is not something that I'm doing just for the dollars. This is something that it's like, I'm already fucking sending people to you. I feel like it's reasonable instead of you paying for a marketing expense to give me the marketing expense effectively. I also then get better client results with more support. Jason gets the law support that he needs and he gets better results as a result of that. And therefore I'm the one who gets the credit because I sent him to the guy or girl who was epic. Cool. So for me, the outcome of that, other than great client results, Xenia sends me to great people, whatever, is additional revenue. Okay. For the other business, they get brand awareness for free. I'm like, go see these people who fucking didn't exist in this, and Jason didn't know who this lawyer was, right? And so now he does. So they get exposure and they get to go and pitch or sell to them or do whatever they do. And they get super warm leads with no marketing cost. Okay. So they get new clients without having to pay for them. I feel like in health, it's this thing of like, no one fucking pays for clients and everyone spends all their time. But like most industries, they're fucking spending a lot on marketing. I'm talking 20 to up to 50%, I heard the other day, of their entire amount that comes into their business, they're reinvesting in marketing. Do you reckon they could give you some of that if you just fucking handed them warm leads? They'd probably be very fine with that. Okay. And I have done this and continue to do this and get recurring revenue from other recurring revenue businesses because I referred that person one time. You can do this in either direction as well. So you could give people money for them referring you really warm clients. Third example is created service partnership. So this is Swift times a complementary service. So the example here is, let's say I have a package with our rehab business, or our exercise business, which is a standard package or a premium package. Now, I only have skills in exercise. So my standard package is exercise only, which is $90 a week. And that's one exercise session and your whole training program as an example. I also think my clients would benefit if they had nutrition included though, but I don't know nutrition. So what I've done is I've gone to Tay, who has qualifications in nutrition, and I said, hey, do you want some clients without putting in any effort? I'll just fucking hand them to you and you just have to like write them a meal plan and check in with them a couple of times. She'd probably be like, yeah, that sounds great. And I'm like, cool. How much would you charge for that? And she says to me, $35 a week. It's real like low emphasis. She's already got, it's like predetermined plans, whatever. I go, awesome. I'm going to give you $35 a week, Tay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge the client $140. So I take a 15% increase. Tay still gets her 35 that she wanted, but because the added value of exercise plus nutrition under the Swift banner now means the client is getting a better service, and Tay is now the Swift nutritionist and she kind of like works for me, but she provides that service. To reinforce, Swift, the exercise company, outsources nutrition to Tay, who does nutrition. She charges $35 a week to me. Right? I get $140 from the client. Tay invoices me $35 a week directly for the work she does for my client on nutrition that I'm doing for exercise. And then I charge the client that $140, which is plus the 15, and I just pocket $15 every week for creating that partnership. And then you could do the inverse, and Tay could have a nutrition business and you could be the exercise, and she could be like, hey, if they go to you, we'll do the inverse and I'll take the $15. Because it's your client, because you were the one who brought them in and you're handing it over. So you're basically charging like a marketing fee is effectively what it is. So that is effectively the masterclass. As always, it's about making the commitment to the people who you care about and to yourself to just start with one thing with partnerships in your business. Who feels like they at least have the ability to reach out to the partner that they wrote down today.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. 100% hit rate. That's what I wanted. Cool. It's who thinks now this is way fucking easier than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think we just build these things up in our head and sometimes we don't know where to start. So I want to help to provide that for you and give you a bit of a roadmap or a plan to just go and take the next step.
I have a tiny favor to ask of you, and that is to just hit that subscribe button if you have not done it yet. If you've made it this far, then I hope that this has been valuable for you and for us to get more incredible guests in front of your earlobes and faces. If you're watching us on YouTube, then please do that now. And if you have any feedback or suggestions for me or something that was a golden nugget that really stood out to you in this episode, I would absolutely love if you flicked me a message over on Instagram at Xenia Wood Official. Until next episode, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.